DreamWorks Trolls is my guilty pleasure. It is, and they've made a third troll movie. This one is about siblings and 2000s boy bands and just trolls being weird. Like, wow. I'm just gonna say right now that this is not as good as the World Tour one. It is not. I loved Trolls World Tour. The aesthetics, the story, how they took the different genres of music and, like, personified them. It was unique and special and funny. Like, all the other genres hate pop because it tried to destroy them. That's still very funny to this day. And in a way, I'm relieved that they didn't try to mention them in this movie, because they would just be cramming something too good for something so silly as Trolls honestly truly is. Trolls is just this third movie is truly more like the first one, where it is just a weird, out of the box, kind of cringy jukebox musical of, yeah, like very strange but often funny adult jokes. And yeah, just sort of like, modern day slang and other hokiness that, kids will recognize, kids will hold dear to their hearts, but might not age as well as they're hoping. Yeah. But did I enjoy Trolls 3 anyway? Definitely not as much as, World Tour, but much more than the first one. This is an odd detail, but I feel like mentioning it. One thing that I have noticed over these three movies is the trolls continue to not use their magical hair to do stuff. And if they did, I think a lot of problems would be solved much faster. It's a weird detail, but there it is. Yeah. A lot of the action, a lot of the trolls' helplessness could be avoided if they actually used their hair like they did in the first movie. And the fact that they just don't, I think, is a huge mistake of the storyboard and animators. And it's just kind of missing a little fun. So, yeah, I don't love that part. I don't. Do I still think the dialogue is pretty funny? Yeah, Branch and Poppy still have pretty good chemistry. You would think that sour and sweet thing would get old, but, they just do it at the right enough level that it's not so bad. I will say that Trolls 3 did do some things that were surprisingly actually mature for them, story-wise, that I was impressed with. Mostly they avoided a lot of mean-spirited jokes they could have gone with, and I appreciate that. I do. I truly, genuinely do. Yeah. I'm going to talk about spoilers because this movie is not much, so the spoilers are kind of all that's there. Alrighty, we have Branch, Justin Timberlake. He used to be in a boy band, obviously, and he was the youngest brother of his brothers. Think the Jackson 5. Yeah. Branch's oldest brother is voiced by the same guy who does Lucy in Disenchantment. He's great. He's a great voice actor. And yeah, he's a mean-spirited, bossy dude that, is surprised that none of his brothers, even after 20 years of not talking, still don't want to talk to him or approach him with a lot of warmth or friendliness. They don't. But the nice brother of the entire group, the sweetest, most genuinely good-natured, is kidnapped by these weird, like, lollipop kind of characters. Yeah. And so the brothers decide that it's more important to save the nice one and just put up with the mean one. And that's fine. And yeah. It's ridiculous, but... Oh, excuse me. And yeah, I'm kind of happy to see that, even though they all look like Branch a little bit, not all of them have bunkers or paranoia. No, they grew up and were all individual, different people. Yeah, it's like just 4 random trolls that happen to be related. Yeah, and something about that is a pleasant surprise, because if we were just going to meet a bunch of Branch clones, I'd be really fucking aggravated. But no, one brother runs some kind of hotel and has a family with mutant sock puppet children, of course. Another one works on a creepy abandoned golf course as some kind of accountant. He's very proud of that. And yeah, that's actually all very, very nice. Going back to creepy clone thing, Poppy randomly finds out that she has a blonde sister on this journey. An older sister that King Poppy thought was dead and didn't really go back to, Bergentown to check on because they were just so happy to get out of Bergentown where the Bergens were eating us. Yeah, they're still really relieved about that. The Bergens do show up again in this movie because it's Bridget and the king's wedding and their honeymoon, and oh my goodness, the naughty jokes that surround them are fantastic. Oh my god, like, oh my god, oh my god, I love them. I love them. I love thinking how parents will try to explain those jokes to kids. Anyway, so Poppy's sister, who does seem like just a clone of her in the chipperness and excitability levels, actually has a wonderfully sad story. Yeah, since being abandoned and living in this golf course where she's the leader, she is scared to go out. She's genuinely scared, and I was kind of expecting her and Poppy to get too much into each other's face and annoy each other, but instead, Poppy finds out that siblings are difficult because sometimes, as much as you want to help them, you can't, and I don't know, that sad twist is just a nice change of pace, and I appreciate that. Yeah, I do. I sincerely do. And again, with so many characters in this movie, it's okay that this one did not have that much, like, story time or screen time, but she did have an impactful little moment where, as much as you might love somebody, as much as you might see the best in them, sometimes their sadness just overwhelms them, and even if you love them, there's not much else you can do. Be there for them, but sometimes that's not enough. Also, this is a small thing that wasn't said in the movie, but I appreciate, was one of Branch's brothers was kind of the dreamboat back in the day. He had abs, and 20 years later, he's gotten puffy and, dad bod, but because he's still got swagger, Poppy's like, okay, yeah, I can still see it. And I just found that really cool. No body shaming. That's nice. Body shaming was a thing with James Corden's character, so it's nice that they got past that in this movie. It's nice. Okay, Andrew Rannell, a great Broadway singer, is one of the bad guys of these loop-de-loo characters, and I love his voice acting. I'm so happy to see it. His characters, though, their dialogue, their position, just the way they're animated, it feels like just leftovers from the Ruby Gilman movie, and they're just hard to look at. I did not like them. I wanted to because, again, I love the voice acting, and I get the plot, but they were just creepy to me. Like, just all these, like, new puppet characters they made. Yes, they reminded us that trolls are small, but they were just so creepy. So much. I don't want to see more of this weird world. I don't. But the movie still has this ending where it's going to have another one. It's kind of like Trolls is to DreamWorks what Toy Story is to Pixar, where because this material is so malleable, they can keep it going as long as they want. They can, and that terrifies me. It just terrifies me. Oh, one other little thing I did appreciate about this movie was Branch and Poppy are happy in the relationship they have. They're not overly romantic, they're not overly bored or anything with each other. Yeah, they still love each other, they like hanging out together, and there isn't a moment at all in the movie where you think, oh no, this is going to break them up. I mean, in my world mind of where, yes, this is where the cliche plot happens, instead they're just like, nope, I'm still here. I choose to do this with you. They keep doing that, they keep saying that in this movie, and it's not just so much of a cheesy level, it's just more of a, why not? It makes the most sense to me kind of way. And yeah, I found that really nice. That was very sweet to me. They don't like hold each other up, but they are there for each other, and that was just really nice. And yeah, all the other characters, like all of Poppy's friends, all of the new trolls that were introduced in the last movie, you don't see them, which is, yeah, it kind of gives you the vibe that we would almost forget that World Tour existed if it wasn't at least mentioned. Yeah, it was mentioned, and I still think it's the best troll movies of all. I love it dearly, and I'm happy to show it to other people just because, the aesthetics of how it was animated and every individual little, like, troll country, I just thought was beautiful. But this one, Trolls 3, I'll admit, I did not see it in theaters, and unless you're just somebody who wants to take your kids out and distract them for an hour or two, I forgot how long this was, probably just an hour and a half, If you just want to distract them and get their brains rotted with sugary goodness, this movie will do that. If you're an animation fan, not even the animation is that good. It's just really bright, colorful, and silly. And that's fine, but it definitely doesn't have the coolness that the last one did. So this movie is just okay. It's just fine. It wasn't too much of anything. It was just really okay. And I much rather prefer a really okay movie than an incredibly bad one. Yeah, these are the standards I've had to adapt to myself. But yeah, if you like the Trolls movies, then you'll continue like this because it still has the same humor. It still has the same like silly jukeboxy, even though none of the songs I want to go and listen to again. Like all of World Tour, I loved that soundtrack. A couple of songs in the first movie, yes. This one, no, none of them. I never really cared about boy bands. I guess that's a huge part of it. But yeah, none of the songs that happen in this movie I want to stop and go listen to again. None stuck in my head. Okay. But again, if you just want to rot some kid's brain, this will do the trick.